What's the most outrageous thing a club's offered someone to get the deal over the line? Like when I'm thinking of Gaza. When Gaza went to Lazio, did they not offer him something obscure?
Fishing rod.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Like, oh, fuck it, we'll chuck I don't know, a gold lion in for your garden. There was something ridiculous like that, I'm sure it were.
Do you know what you tend to find? We had it in January, won't name the club, won't name the player, but where there was a particular player that all of a sudden became really like a hot prospect on January because he was allowed to leave the club he was at for next to nothing. And it just so happened on deadline day, there was a few bits of movement that happened unexpectedly. But this one client was perfectly positioned where, they could get him on a perm, which is also a big thing because you don't want to use up a loan slot a lot of the time. So it was like they could get him on a perm, that could free up a loan spot elsewhere. So suddenly there was like 3-4 clubs that was suddenly chasing after this one player. And as the day progressed, and I made, on deadline day, I actually counted them the next day because I thought, I do wonder. I made 228 calls on deadline day, which...
For this one player?
For one day, about half were on that one player because it was from club to club to club to club. And the thing was, it was kind of, the lad was killing me a bit because I was like, you need to make a decision at some point. Like, we're getting later in the day, the deadline's coming up. But obviously by him waiting and waiting, these clubs kept coming back and kept getting higher. And by the end of the day, like the initial offer that he got, it was several times more. But of course,
several times.
But because it was only a short-term deal, you can imagine as well, where they're not even thinking about the numbers because effectively all they're thinking is, well, we only need him from January to June. So, even if we break our pay structure, if we can get that perm in, we'll play a little bit more. Freezes up for a loan spot elsewhere. And it might be that then for this particular player, all of the clubs then knew if they could bring him in, they had other loans ready to come in. So he was like a big part of the jigsaw.
So he's just in the perfect position.
So you can imagine then we live it. We love it, but we also live it where I'm then thinking it's quite difficult because I'm like, I've wanted to be as open and transparent with these 4 clubs. I'm like, right, look, his head's here at the moment. He hasn't got an answer for you yet. And then you can imagine it gets to a point where I'm having to go to the client and be, you've got to give me an answer now. Because if whatever you say, it doesn't matter. But then the other 3 clubs, I need to let them know now. Otherwise, they're going to be left in the lurch and we're running out of time. And then anyway, he made his decision. And then the other 3 acted quickly. And we actually helped the other 3 as well with other goalkeepers. So it all worked out. But honestly, I didn't... Well, for about 3 days, I just slept for 3 days.
Any examples of where you... So if there's 11 o'clock deadline and you're like, this is going to be touch and go, this... to get it over, and you've had to, was it a fax machine or something? You had to go and find a...
That was for a loan,
Yeah.
I had my one example, and this is a few years ago actually, but I had, I'll name the 2 lads. It was Dylan Phillips going to Cardiff, and we had Andy Fisher going to MK. Both at the same time. I'd gone with Dylan to Cardiff and Fish was getting done. But I just remember it must have been a 5 p.m. deadline. It was about 10 to 5. And I was waiting for this contract to come through on my phone. Then I didn't even realise, suddenly checked I had 1% battery. And I just remember running around the Cardiff stadium like, I need a charger. I need a charger. You imagine my phone died and I couldn't actually sign the deal because and anyway, luckily I was like crouched in the corner doing it on my phone and we got it done with about a minute or 2 to spare. But again, it's a bit now as well, like, as much as I say about my nerves when I played, like obviously the buzz you get when you win, etc. It is the closest thing now. Like it is such a buzz. Over here I've got my 12 screens, so I have like 12 games on at a time. But when you're watching one of the lads that you've kind of worked with for a number of years, big game, we've had a few this season, like lads that have been playing Brandon Austin coming through at Spurs, like making his debut, doing really well. Christian Walton having some great games for Ipswich. They've had 9 or 10 starting in the Championship most weeks. And I love it. Like it's so nice when you see him have a big game and that chat with him afterwards. Like it's probably the closest thing now that I can get to that kind of buzz of winning a game.
What's your?
Did you just see? By the way, did you just see you've got 12 screens in your house?
Oh yeah.
Well, I was just going to say.
I'm just imagining somebody in a betting shop in Vegas.
Yeah.
With like horse racing there, dogs, fucking camels, the lot all the way around the.
Well, I was just going to ask.
the fucking battle camels over here.
I was just going to ask because it might be a silly question, but I'm interested to know like what your setup is for deadline week. Let's say.
Yeah.
Like. I'm imagining a headset on, everything that you need, get your carbs there, your electrolytes for the day.
Yeah.
All the calls flying in.
Definitely the electrolytes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that's one of the things when I first moved here, I didn't tell anyone for a year. So I kept it secret because I stayed on my UK number. I worked UK hours, so no one knew that I was sick. So I didn't want them to think I'm in Dubai and I've switched off or what have you. So after about a year, I started telling people. One of the best things about living here is the time difference. So it's 3 hours now, but it's 4 hours in the winter. So Well, I mean, I get up at 6 a.m. here, it's 2 a.m. in England. So it means I've got that quiet time, the first 4 or 5 hours of the day where try and get a workout in when I can, but then I'll sit behind my desk and I'll put my phone on airplane mode and I'll send 150 messages just to start the day. And that's almost like, right, we're off. Take it off airplane mode, they all send, and then it's just fielding calls for the whole day. And I basically block out, so I sort of, you use the word sacrifice, but May, June, July, August, and January, in particular, December as well, sort of 6 months that are hectic, and then you've got 6 months that are a bit more just ticking over, watching games, speaking to lads. But no, the summer months, it is just, I barely leave the house. It is just constant, because there's always something going on, and you've got to be quick as well. Like, it's not too, the summer window is better because it's longer. Like January can be a nightmare because it's just so condensed. And you miss a call, if they're panicking, they might make another call. So it is that sort of feeling of anxiousness that I cannot miss a call. Or when you're on a call, and I get this a lot when I be on a call and someone's chatting away and I've had 4 missed calls while I'm on that call, and you're like, I need to get back to them.
Bring you back.
Yeah.
Just bring you back message.
Yeah. Can I call you later?
Fuck off. You fucking can't, no. But see, like, on that, I always, when you're explaining we got the player and there's 4 clubs, blah, blah, blah. I always used to think a club would miss out on a player, like with 3 minutes to go. And I just think, you've had all January to sort this shit out.
And that's the thing. Jan in particular, like, I don't know what the percentage is. I'd guess 60, 70% happens on the final day. And it's frustrating at the same time. I understand it now, where, it starts off where, one team's here, and that will gradually move closer. But of course, when you've got a deadline, it has to get done or not. So it's like anything in it. It's like you're revising for an exam at school, you do it the night before, like you don't do it 3 weeks before. And it feels a bit the same with the windows, where it's a bit different in the summer because you'll get a lot that want their teams in place for pre-season. Even that, I think the window finishes too late. I can't understand why it finishes, end of August, start of September, because the season's already underway. But in the summer, at least, you've got a longer period of time. It's not quite as stressful. A lot will get done in May, June, and then you kind of find it ticks over in July, and then August gets busy again.